Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirai. Ashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Name Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 6 Chapter 17 Verse 11. Sri Parvati Vacha Ayam kim maduna loke shasta danda dara prabhu asmad vidhanam dushtanam nirlajjanam cha viprakrit. Goddess Parvati said, Alas, has this upstart now received a post from which to punish shameless persons like us? Has he been appointed ruler, carrier of the rod of punishment? Is he now the only master of everything? And Parvati is really upset. न वेदधर्मं किल पद्मयोनिर्न ब्रह्मपुत्रा भृगुनारदायाः नारदाद्याः न वै कुमारः कपिलो मनुश्च येनो निषेधन्त्यतिवर्तिनं हरम्. Alas, Lord Brahma, who has taken his birth from the lotus flower, does not know the principles of religion, nor do the great saints like Bhrigu and Narada, nor the four Kumaras headed by Sanat Kumara. Manu and Kapila have also forgotten religious principles. I suppose it to be because of this that they have not tried to stop Lord Shiva from behaving improperly. Yesham anudhyaya padabjayugmam jagadgurum mangalam swayam yakshatra bandhu paribhuya sureen prashasti drishtas tadayam hidandyaha. His Citraketu is the lowest of Kshatriyas, for he has impudently overridden Brahma and the other demigods by insulting Lord Shiva, upon whose lotus feet they always meditate. Lord Shiva is personified religion and the spiritual master of the entire world, and therefore Citraketu must be punished. All the members of the assembly were exalted Brahmanas and self-realized souls, but they did not say anything about the conduct of Lord Shiva, who was embracing the goddess Parvati on his lap. Citraketu nonetheless criticized Lord Shiva, and therefore the opinion of Parvati was that he should be punished. Nayam marrati vaikuntha padamulopa sarpanam sambhavitamati stabdaha sadhubihi paryupasitam. This person is puffed up because of his achievements, thinking I am the best. It does not deserve to approach the shelter of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet, which are worshipped by all saintly persons. For he is impudent, thinking himself greatly important. See, one thing nice thing to observe is Parvati is not saying he does not deserve to approach the shelter of Lord Shiva. So she is saying he does not deserve to approach the shelter of Lord Vishnu's lotus feet. If a devotee thinks that he is very much advanced in devotional service, he is considered puffed up and unfit to sit beneath the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Again, this instruction by Lord Chaitanya is applicable. Trinadapi sunichena tharorapi saishnu namani namanadena kirtaniya sada harihi. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is humble and meek, one cannot qualify to sit at the lotus feet of the Lord. Again, this thing keeps coming up every now and then. What is the issue with actually coming to this state? What is our problem? Why is it that this seems so difficult? Devotees want to answer?
Pride and false ego.
Yeah, but why? As in
Now,
this
Prabhuji,
weekend, yeah, just one second. This weekend I say, okay, yeah, but somebody who doesn't know anything about Krishna consciousness, that's fine, that's understandable. But what about practicing devotees who have been hearing this, right? Why is it that it seems difficult for us also?
And sometimes fault finding mentality in others and thinking that we are pure devotees and others are not.
Okay. Yeah, Ruchira Mataji, you were saying something.
yes, Prabhuji, like it's a very deep-rooted mentality of lording over material nature. Like we have been
Okay, but
conditioned from millions of lives.
yeah, conditioning is okay, but the whole idea of the Hare Krishna, the process of bhakti is to help us come out of this conditioning, right?
Yes,
Now, what is preventing us from actually coming to this state? We are practicing, we are chanting Hare Krishna, we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we are associating with devotees, we are serving, we are doing so many
we,
things.
we are not chanting offenselessly.
We are not chanting offenselessly. Okay. Hmm. Actually, yeah, Chutpiya Mataji. Yeah, yeah, Annapurna Mataji. Go ahead. Huh? Our attachments to the body. Okay. So one thing that comes to my mind is that we are actually not conscious of this. I've seen sometimes devotees actually behave in a particular way, which is not at all conducive for devotion, which is not at all on this platform, but they don't even understand or they don't even recognize that their behavior is not acceptable. So that is one reason, which is just lack of self introspection, lack of self awareness. We don't know what we are doing. We don't know what we are saying. We don't know. We are not aware of ourselves. One reason. Second, this is easy. You just have to become conscious about what we do and then try to keep correcting ourselves at every possible opportunity, which is every opportunity, right? Every scenario, every situation that we are faced with, we can become a little more yeah, introspective, and we should actually very sincerely try to correct ourselves. This seems to be the first issue. Second is willingly, willingly we somehow have a misconception about ourselves, right? Thinking that we are something. This is also an illusion because we are actually nothing. So the first one is lack of self introspection. Second one is just ignorance or misconception. We just we're just not in the clear, we are not thinking clearly, um, right? And yeah, we just not think, we're not aware of the fact that we are nothing, or we don't want to, or we think that we are something, let's put it that way. First one is we don't even I'm not even conscious about the way I'm dealing with things and people, etc. That just lower mode of ignorance. Then there is a mode of passion, maybe also, where we think that we have achieved something, and also ignorance. And so we think we are somebody of some consequence. And so we think that others should respect us. The third is, yeah, like if you're saying bodily conception of life, where we don't want suffering. We can't tolerate suffering. We want everything to be comfortable, material life to be comfortable. We want material life to be comfortable. We don't want difficulties. um, mm. So if you see, actually every stage of our life, the situations that we go through actually are they're teaching us to actually come to this platform. But somehow when we get problems, we become more aggressive, so to speak. Right? So, um, I'm thinking the root cause is that we still want to remain independent. We want to remain independent. We don't want to surrender to authority. This seems to be the problem. Right? Because if we surrender to authority, then obviously we are nobody because we have to accept authority. So we have to accept whatever they're saying and we have to take it seriously. Right? And then when we are under some authority, then they might say and ask us to do things that might not be very conducive for us, might not make us happy. But then we have to still do by being tolerant. And still we have to respect that person who is guiding us and other devotees that we are working with, etc. So unless we surrender to authority, these things will not happen. And we have discussed this also, right? So somehow devotees don't want to surrender. So it's a very and conditional surrender. Sometimes it's like, yeah, okay, this is how it is. This is how I am. Just take it or leave it types. That's not surrender. Surrender means giving somebody the opportunity to change us, to make us a better devotee. So we all should introspect in our own lives. Why is it that are we ready to accept authority? If so, then how has that changed our life? Have we become more uh, humble, more tolerant? This to me seems to be somewhat like a root cause. While everything underlying, we know, right? Okay, conditioning or attachment, but all this is supposed to go away. And it will only go away when we are willingly accept authority. Any thoughts? Do you think it makes sense, or you think there's something else which is a root cause? This is so important, actually, right? If we can't get here, then we can't think of the name of the Lord constantly. Why? Because we are thinking about ourselves. This whole thing is thinking about ourselves, not Hari. If you're thinking about Hari, then it is, oh, I am servant. I'm servant of this, servant of servant of servant of servant of servant of Krishna. So we can't think about Hari because we are thinking about ourselves. Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes, Prabhuji, that also might be the reason. But sometimes I feel that even if a person who is having some authority, they still act in this way. And one of them is,
Yeah, that is okay, Prabhu. Let's talk about ourselves,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I'm saying if suppose say we are ready to accept, if we wholeheartedly accept authority, will we be able to come to this state? See, our idea of reading Bhagavatam here is practically find out where our issues are and figure out ways to move forward, isn't it? Um,
yeah.
so I'm just thinking aloud myself, right? I'm saying in my own life, in my own spiritual life, I'm thinking, why is it that I'm not reached this state yet? Hmm? So one thing is, I feel that we are still retaining some little bit of independence, um, at least from a pride perspective, right? Um, yeah, because if we accept authority, if we follow whatever they are saying, um, actually I have a Vaishnava guest, somebody who's come from US, and I see that devotee is just very young, you know and I see that actually she doesn't seem to have any false ego at all. It just seems so clear, clean slate. And I was just thinking, saying that of course she doesn't know so many things about India culture, and she's always eager to hear, to learn, to serve. And somehow, because we know many of these things, right? So we're not ready to somewhat surrender ourselves, I feel. Yeah, Sumantra Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
Like, flickering ruchi and your three modes of nature, Prabhu.
But
Find
that
it.
is all there, no, Mataji. I mean, that is
Yeah.
all there, right? As in, see, the whole process of devotion is to help us come out of these things. This is our
But there's
constitutional problem. So let's put it as constitutional problem. This is our
it's
constitutional problem, right? Like we are here in this material world and we are in the grips of this three modes of nature, and we have our conditioning. We have all this, right? But the process of devotion is supposed to actually pull us out. But why is it that we are not experiencing? See, unless someone's nature itself is already there, humble, and then it's okay. Then for them, it's not change as such, right? But for many of us, at least I can speak about myself, who are not by nature humble. I was just thinking, saying that what could be, what could be the reason? Because we are still thinking that we are doing something. We are still thinking, at least from a Trinadapi Sunichena. Some pride is there, number one. Second, no tolerance. Again, yeah, one thing is with respect to other devotees, no tolerance is again thinking that we are something great. No tolerance with respect to body is material attachment. Now, even when somebody has material attachment, like Guru says, okay, get up in the morning and do. Then maybe if we are ready to take up some austerities, then we might become tolerant. Which is why I'm thinking that it's possibly seems to me like a good root cause is our lack of complete surrender, and we're still trying to live independently. And see, uh, one inherent cause for this is because we are not in an ashram, right? Like if there is a brahmachari ashram, then brahmacharis can't, they don't have freedom. Unfortunately for grihasthas, we don't have any ashram, we don't have any control. We are living independently, we're doing things independently. So that somewhat that independence remains, that freedom remains. So which is why I was thinking then maybe for grihasthas, maybe it is conducive if we also live in an ashram, in a community. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, food for thought. We can think about this. What's causing?
Prabhuji, one more thing.
Yeah.
I think observing in my case, I also feel that yesterday, which we were discussing, that seeing the externals behavior of some person, we immediately make some impression about them that yes, they
Mm.
are acting in this way, so they must be wrong.
Mm.
Because we might have some experience in the past where we thought
Mm.
that if this is the way people speak, then they are mostly what is that, they are mostly insulting. So if we
Mm.
immediately see that small trait in other devotee or another person, we perceive
Mm.
them as in the same category, although they might not be. So in this case, the most relevant thing which comes to my mind is yesterday what you told, that if we have slightest of doubt, we should go and approach that devotee and clear that, instead of keeping that misconception always.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
again, the cause for that is we are thinking we are somebody.
Yeah.
Right? See, this independent thinking, right? Like think of a dog, right? A dog just does whatever the master says, right? We are not in that position, right? We have, which is why I'm saying we have retained independence. We live elsewhere. We have our own lives. So maybe all those things, we don't have anybody to tell us on a regular basis. Nobody to see what we are doing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? And if we are ourselves not introspective and wanting continuous improvement, And we are just chill, yeah, as long as, life situation is not troubling us, we are just okay. Like that, then it's tough, right?
मैंने खोल दिया
हाँ माता जी, क्या खोल दिया? गोलोक का
है।
गोलोक का गेट खोल दिया तो बोलिए, जल्दी भागेंगे।
Sorry, Prabhuji. Uncle wanted to talk, so I said I've opened the speaker. I'm so sorry.
No, I thought you opened gate to Goloka. I said, okay, let's run.
I wish I
Yes,
could.
yes,
somehow.
Anukul Prabhu, please.
Hey, Prabhuji, I was
Hare Krishna.
last month in Baroda.
Mhm.
Most of the Prabhu's my son was married, and so I met Bali Mardan Prabhu.
Mhm.
So he said, Prabhupada, who followed Prabhupada, they become humble actually, mostly.
Yeah.
And who not followed, like he gave his own example.
Mm.
But I was GBC, I was kind of BVT trustee, I was having so many posts. And Prabhupada suddenly asked him,
Mm.
you go to Nepal
Mm.
and assist to that Brahmananda brothers, I'm missing name actually. Brahmananda Prabhu's brother name actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
what is stuck?
Yeah, okay. So
Mm.
he was junior from him actually. He said, Prabhupada said, you go to Nepal with him and assist him. But I smashed immediately. So then I have to go. Prabhupada said, so if I won't follow, then it means I'm not correct disciple. So I followed and went there and assisting him. Whatever he used to say, I was doing.
Gargamuni, right?
Gargamuni, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So he said, so Prabhupada was knowing how to deal with any person and like that way. And he said, he asked Brahman to from suddenly go to Africa. There is nothing actually.
Yeah. And interestingly, Prabhu, see, these devotees were all, of course, one is they were so fortunate, they were in direct touch with their spiritual master, and they were ready to follow whatever he's saying. Right? And which is where I'm connecting, saying that our situation, unfortunately, is we are all independent. Right? We are not day in and day out under the nose of the spiritual master, right? Or an authority for that matter, right? And so we are somewhat independent in the way we think about ourselves, in the way, we think about other devotees. Who are we to assess other devotees? We think that we are qualified. So like this, Anukul Prabhu gave perfect example, right? So those devotees were surrendered to their guru. They followed whatever guru was saying, irrespective of what this one is, and they became humble.
I just want to name, he gave example, one or two devotees also, they didn't follow Prabhupada, and they suffered actually.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhu. I think that
Thank you,
was
Prabhu.
very.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. अतः पापीयसीं योनिम् आसुरीं याहि दुर्मते यथेह भूयो महतां न कर्ता पुत्र खिल्बिषम्. Oh, impudent one. Impudent one. My dear son, now take birth. Impudent one, my dear son. Now take birth in a low sinful family of demons so that you will not commit such an offense again toward exalted saintly persons in this world. So this is the danger, right, of Vaishnava Parad. Again, we discussed this, right? Criticism and offense. There's a slight gap. But when criticism becomes part of our day-to-day life, it will result in offense to some exalted devotee, because we just think that, oh, no, I am criticizing so many people, so I must be really qualified. So I will criticize this person also. And if that person was like a real sadhu, then we are gone. So that is one thing. Second thing is the result of committing such an offense is low birth and suffering. Okay, and we see that this was a compassionate curse that Parvati Devi gave, right? Saying, my dear son, I'm not envious of you. Just that this is to correct you. So it was actually of something favorable for Citraketu. So similarly, I think this is also teaches us how to deal with suffering. Right? If we are surrendered to Krishna, Krishna is putting us in those situations which are just apt for our spiritual progress. So we should not again shy away from so-called material suffering. One should be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of Vaishnavas, of whom Lord Shiva is the best. While instructing Srila Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu described an offense at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava as Hathi Mata, mad elephant. When a mad elephant enters a nice garden, it spoils the entire garden. Similarly, if one becomes like a mad elephant and commits offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, his entire spiritual career is halted. One should therefore be very careful not to commit offenses at the lotus feet of a Vaishnava. Now, what are the signs of this? Spiritual career being halted. Spiritual career. What are the signs of this? Anybody?
No association with devotees, Prabhu. No sadhusanga.
No. What is the result? If suppose say we have offended somebody, what will we experience in our life, in our spiritual life?
We will
Falling
lose
down,
association of
Prabhuji.
devotees.
We may lose, we may not lose. Okay.
We
Fall
will
down the mat loose.
Sorry, one by one. Kameshwari Mataji.
So we lose the taste in chanting.
Yes, taste in chanting. Yes. Okay. Then.
Attachment to material senses.
Yeah, attachment to material increases. Our offenses keep on increasing. Our taste goes on decreasing. Right. So we can make out we've done something wrong. And mostly it will be Vaishnava Aparad. And if suppose say we are not aware, we don't know to whom we have done, then we have to just constantly chant Hare Krishna. That's what Harinam Chintamani recommends. That we have to constantly chant Hare Krishna to come out of it. Right? And if we are still not corrective, if we are not correcting ourselves, then we might be thrown to hell for that. Right? So we have to be very careful dealing with Vaishnavas. We have to be very careful. Somehow we just deal with every Vaishnava as a normal as any other human being. We just treat every Vaishnava as any other human being. It's so dangerous. I was just hearing one conversation the other day. I don't want to name who, some conversation I was hearing. And the conversation was just self-centered. One devotee is just talking about his or her own situation, about something which did not have any consideration of the other devotee or the general situation at hand. It's just me, mine, me, mine, me, mine, me, mine. Right? And in being me, mine, we end up offending. The other person was trying to explain some scenario, and this person just not ready to understand at all, because they're just not coming out of their me mind situation. So one thing we have to understand, saying that, see, if we are simply, just because we know some shastra, doesn't make us some highly qualified person. A real knowledgeable person is one who actually applies the teachings. Theoretical knowledge is of no use, is useless. So we have to be really careful, when we are speaking to other devotees, we have to be very careful. I can't emphasize it more, right? We have to be conscious about whom we are speaking to, what we are saying, what is our position, and all this should be it should be objective, not subjective, not our own some imagination. Right? So yeah, we have to really wake up. I mean, see, because this is day in and day out. We are talking to devotees on call. We are talking to them face to face. We are working with somebody, doing some service. We have seniors, we have authorities. So many different types. We have new people to whom we are preaching to. guiding them, etc. So we have to be very, very careful. We should not mix up. Maybe we are flustered with some devotee whom we are trying to guide, that he or she is not listening to what we are saying. Then suddenly there's one call from some senior person, and then we are in that same bad mood. Right? Happens. And we transfer that mood to that other person, which is so offensive. Right? Which is why, in general, if we are Trinadapi, then we can be Trinadapi with every person. If you think, no, I'm superior to these people, but I'm inferior to others, then this switch between superior to inferior might not happen at the right time, which might also result in an offense. Interesting. Okay. Mother Parvati was justified in punishing Citraketu, for Citraketu impudently criticized the Supreme Father Mahadeva, who was the father of the living entities conditioned within this material world. Goddess Durga is called Mother and Lord Shiva is called Father. A pure Vaishnava should be very careful to engage in his specific duty. See, very careful. In his specific duty, you have a duty, you have a role to play. You have to be very careful to engage in that duty without criticizing others. This is the safest position. Now, obviously, then, people who are in position, who've been given some position in Srila Prabhupada's movement, obviously, they are in a more risky position. This is the safest, right? Some simple, devotee whom nobody knows, who is like not done any significant contribution to the movement, and it's just simple, humble, chanting Hare Krishna, safest. Of course, because by constitutionally they have not been enabled to contribute significantly in the movement. And those who have been bestowed upon some mercy to contribute in the movement, they come under risk. So we have to be very careful. Otherwise, if one tends to criticize others, he may commit the great offense of criticizing a Vaishnava. See, this is very, very important. If one tends to criticize others, now Prabhupada, what Prabhupada is saying, if you have this tendency to criticize others, generally, anybody, everybody, it is not okay, that's not okay, why did you do like this, a high chance that we may commit a great offense criticizing a Vaishnava. Which is why Krishna in the 16th chapter, 13th chapter, where does he say? He's saying that we should become free from this fault-finding nature. Because Citraketu was undoubtedly a Vaishnava, he might have been surprised that Parvati had cursed him. Now, Prabhupada is now speaking about the other side. Citraketu was undoubtedly a Vaishnava, right? So it was just a fall down. He might have been surprised that Parvati had cursed him. Therefore, the goddess Parvati addressed him as Putra. Everyone is the son of Mother Durga, but she is not an ordinary mother. As soon as there is a small discrepancy in a demon's behavior, Mother Durga immediately punishes the demon so that he may come to his senses. Daivi esha gunamai mama maya dhrutyaya maya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Those who are surrendered to me can easily cross. Otherwise, very difficult nature, material nature is very difficult to overcome. To surrender to Krishna means to surrender to his devotees also. No one can be a proper servant of Krishna unless he is a proper servant of a devotee. See, this is exactly what I was saying. We just don't think we are a servant. Why not the other person serve me? Chadiya Vaishnava Seva Nistara Payachikeba. Without serving a servant of Krishna, one cannot be elevated to being a servant of Krishna himself. Therefore, Mother Parvati spoke to Citraketu exactly like a mother who says to her naughty child, my dear child, I'm punishing you so that you won't do anything like this again. This tendency of a mother to punish her child is found even in Mother Yashoda, who became the mother of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yashoda punished Krishna by binding him and showing him a stick. Thus, it is the duty of a mother to chastise her beloved son, even in the case of the Supreme Lord. It is to be understood that Mother Durga was justified in punishing Citraketu. This punishment was a boon to Citraketu because after taking birth as a demon Vrutrasura, he was promoted directly to Vaikuntha. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Any thoughts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
So Prabhu, I mean, just looking at the whole episode, right? So number one, I mean, yeah, Lord wants Citraketu to come back to him quickly, right?
Mm.
Then looks like, I mean, he's put under illusion to behave in such a way, right, in front of
Mm.
Lord Shiva.
Mm.
Then, yeah, I mean, Lord Shiva understood the situation. He smiled, but again, Mother Durga got influenced by that situation, and then
Mm.
Mother Durga cursed him, right?
Mm.
I mean, I'm just looking, so because so if I mean, Mother Durga, if she's representation of illusion herself,
Mm.
and then she also put under illusion by Lord Krishna. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking it loud. Is that like Krishna influences even Maya, the illusory
Yeah, I
energy?
mean, yeah, everybody's under the control of Krishna, right?
Mm,
So when Krishna wants to do something for a devotee, all energies will align. That is understandable, right? Because he is the supreme
mm,
master, so they will align, right? See, but that's what the Lord Shiva not responding. He just shows he is also Vaishnavana Metha Shambho, right? Like
yes,
topmost
yeah, yeah.
devotee. So
He's
he
not
just
under the influence,
yeah,
but
he's not
mm,
affected, right? But
yes.
sometimes even if somebody is not affected, but they might chastise just to correct us.
Hmm.
So Parvati Devi, while she's externally, but what she's saying is not wrong, right? What she
Yeah.
told about Chitraketu was not wrong, saying that he didn't have the authority to speak.
Hmm.
See, there are multiple considerations, right? Lord Shiva took it at saying that okay, somebody is criticizing me, okay, I will keep quiet, and he also knew, okay, fine, whatever be the reason.
Yeah,
But
but he understood the intent also, Prabhu, because when you were reading it, it is
yeah,
also mentioned in the
no,
purpose that Lord Shiva understood the intent
but
of
the world will
Chitraketu,
not
and that's why he
understand.
didn't respond. Yeah, the world did not.
World
There,
will not
people
understand,
around
and
him. Yes. Yeah.
no, world will not understand, right? Tomorrow,
Hmm.
world, rest of the people who are going to read Purana and say, oh, Chitraketu got away with it. No, you can't get away
Hmm.
with it. So, to prove the point that Vaishnava Parada is not acceptable, see, the important thing here is that we should understand, saying that, whether it is right or wrong, we don't have the authority to speak. And even if we have to do, like we discussed yesterday, there is a way, right? So
Hmm.
there were issues visibly if you look at it from Vaishnava etiquette perspective, there were issues with the way Chitraketu dealt with it, right? Like I said, if he should have just kept quiet and maybe asked Shiva, saying that if he thought it was appropriate, because he is a superior person, superior devotee, right? If he just because he had some doubt, saying that okay, world will misunderstand, so I have now the right to mock at you, right? That's not
Hmm.
appropriate at all, right? Which is why I'm
Yeah,
saying,
but I
see,
think he was forcefully put under illusion to
no,
behave
that
in
is
such a way,
fine,
right?
that is
Because
fine,
ultimately, it is this whole episode is serving the purpose of Krishna,
correct.
right,
But I'm
Prabhu?
saying, what is it that
Yeah.
it is teaching us?
Hmm.
What is it teaching? Saying that even if you see somebody who is grossly doing some mistake, gross mistake,
Hmm. Hmm.
you still have to be careful. You can't just take it for granted, saying that somebody did a mistake. I know exactly what, why, etc. And then I also somehow just got the authority to criticize that person in public or whatever it is, right? So I'm saying we have to be careful about the Lord puts his devotees into these situations to teach us. If Arjuna was not put into illusion, we wouldn't have learned Bhagavad Gita, right? So Lord has his own choice. He picks his devotees, right, for whatever
Hmm.
he knows, right? But why are we being told all this?
Hmm.
Because we should be careful. We should be
Right, bro.
careful, right? That's the whole central theme here, right? Now, while we might analyze what happened, why it happened, etc., ultimately we can understand it's the Supreme Lord's wish. But why? Because he wants to teach us through this
Hmm.
episode how serious Vaishnava Prada is. And it was a worldly mistake from a worldly point of view, gross big mistake. right? But we don't have the right to speak. That's the point.
Okay. Yeah.
And there has
Makes
to
sense.
be a way to understand. There has to be a way to approach. There has to be inquiry. We have to ask. We have to, submissively approach. We just don't think that, oh, okay, yeah, I don't actually one upcoming book, Vaishnava Culture, Etiquette and Behavior, His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Maharaj is writing in that, saying that I've seen this sometimes, devotees who strictly follow standards look at devotees who don't follow standards and belittle them, see them lightly, put them down. Actually, Maharaj writes in that, saying that a criteria to you don't judge another devotee just by seeing whether he or she is following rules or not. That's not the actual criteria. The actual criteria is their attachment to Krishna, which you don't know at all. Right? So like this, we might be in illusion about so many things, thinking we are thinking, oh, following rules is the most supreme, most important thing. No, it's just the means. If somebody didn't follow rules, but he or she was more advanced than us, we don't know about that. So better, be careful. That's why Prabhupada says, be very careful dealing with devotees. Yeah, Vamshi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, with respect to this offending, Vaishnavas, generally we see that some of the non-devotees, right, so they don't know what respect they have to give for maybe devotees, and they unintentionally, uh, like maybe even blaspheme or ill-treat. So, what is the implication, or like, is it in the same intensity for we knowing uh, this is wrong and they not knowing that this is wrong?
No, for us it is, we will lose bhakti. For them, they will just have suffering. We will lose bhakti and we will suffer. For them, they will only suffer.
Okay, bro.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I think we'll close here. We'll continue tomorrow. Krishna willing. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyacha Patitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.